Okay. Okay, Shaper's down. Elder's down. Donna, are you protecting me? I don't remember. Hey friends, and welcome back to Path of Exile for the week 1 update on my Flicker Strike of Power Slayer. Now, a lot of changes have happened since the last time I posted, but essentially what we've done is moved into cluster jewels. So, we dropped a pretty significant portion of the tree over here, and moved into cluster jewels with Vicious Skewering and Fuel the Fight, and then Feed the Fury and Prodigious Defense. On our jewels, we got some block chance, some life, a little bit of impale, and a little bit of crit strike chance. So, we've got all that going on. And the last thing we did is I grabbed a Light of Meaning, which is the Parandus Pact from last league. And what this does is it gives me increased critical strike chance on every passive in the radius that I have allocated. And so, we've got quite a lot of crit chance coming from that, which means I was finally able to drop my crit strike chance jewels and move on into close combat support. Other than that, we finally picked up Heartseeker for a little bit more damage, and I think that about covers it. On our equipment, we've made quite a few upgrades. So our gloves, we've tried to recraft a couple times. This is as good as they've gotten. I would like life on here, but we're okay as is. We upgraded our Carnage Heart to be a corrupted version, which applies additional curse, which lets us add vulnerability into the build. And we've anointed Frenetic instead of Disciple of the Unyielding. We upgraded our body armor, and so it is now much better than our previous one. We've got life, resistances, and then a % increased life. Then finally a quick upgrade to our shield. We just did increased block chance rather than the armor that we had there before. As for skills, I am currently running maps with item rarity support in place of critical damage support. We drop about 1 million damage to do that, but we get more gold when we run the map, and we can take the damage dip for T16s. Like I said earlier, we've also added in Vulnerability and Enduring Cry. We've added in Enduring Cry because at the beginning of the map, we don't have really any endurance charges, and while that isn't a big deal in maps, when it comes to bossing, having those endurance charges makes a really big difference. I also finally upgraded my flasks, and so they are somewhat automated, although not fully. Overall, I'm pretty happy with how the build turned out. It feels pretty tanky and performs really nicely in both maps and in bossing. As I mentioned last time, I am using Double Strike of Momentum for bossing, so any time where Flicker Strike would put me in a precarious situation, I am switching to Double Strike of Momentum to do that damage. Alright, jumping into a map real quick, we've got how this is feeling in maps. I forgot to reassign my key binding. But yeah. Build is feeling really nice. I'm enjoying it. It's not the fastest Flicker Strike, but it gets the job done, and it's plenty tanky to go along with it. So a couple of things that we need to look out for is making sure that we can get that first couple of crits off. And what's essentially happening is our critical strike chance is not 100 until we have 2 or 3 power charges. And so while we're spending those, we're not getting as much. I think it's around 80%-ish. So it's kind of important to have flasks up for those first couple of hits. They're not needed, but it helps a lot in getting your power charges rolling. I think that's a worthwhile trade-off, and it's not like I'm made of tissue paper, so it's not a big deal that I need to take a couple hits every now and then. Alright. And I forgot to use vulnerability. Oh well. So that's about how the build performs in maps. Feels really nice, does the job really well. There's plenty of room for growth in damage, but I'm quickly approaching the point where it is very expensive to upgrade. We did finally get all Watchstones, so we are good to go there. We finally got Uber Elder down. I am so incredibly bad at that fight, but the successful fight I will put at the end of the video if you want to check it out. Overall, I'm pretty happy with the build, and I might revisit it later on in the league to push the power up, but sitting at 5-ish million DPS, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Switching over to PoB, this is what we're looking at now. We've got our Impale here and here. We've got our new cluster jewels and our bleed and crit. We've also got our intuitive leap here, which saves us, really, it doesn't save us any points, because we would have taken fervor herbalism anyway, and so we're spending the same amount of points, but we're getting a lot more value out of that. Now the next big upgrade for this build would of course be Master of Metal. If you did a Verdant Flesh and Flame for Master of Metal, you would increase the damage of this build immensely. So that's a huge upgrade that could be taken, but I kind of want to move on to another build because I'm excited about some interesting things that are possible in this league. Now, I mentioned earlier that in boss fights I always switch to Double Strike of Momentum, so throwing that in real quick, we got Double Strike of Momentum 2020, just for a comparison point. So the damage starts off much lower, but as we build up stages of momentum, you can see that at 10 stages we are at a very comfortable 7 million DPS. That is if we have vulnerability up. So if you're looking to dump all of your damage, make sure you've got that up. If you need another damage boost, we can always use War Banner, but that assumes that you've got the charges for it, so just be aware that that's an option for you. So the more charges you have on Banner, the better it's going to be, and you can have up to 50. I'm really happy with the melee rework. This feels really great. I'm very happy with this state of Flicker Strike and Slayer overall, and I think this has been my favorite Flicker Strike yet, and it's just because it feels really solid. Like I don't worry that if I stay still for half a second that I'm going to die. On the note of staying still, I do need to get the Pantheon for reduced chill effect. But overall, very pleased with how this build turned out and how it's performing. It will also be a really great build for me to utilize to farm for my next characters. On the note of other characters, this is one that I've been messing around with. It's just a Bleed Gladiator using Hidden Blade. If you want to know more about this character, make sure you get subscribed. I'm not sure if it's what I'm covering next, but it's one I think I'm going to work on at a later point in the league. More time without Maven. Let's go. We've got this. I just need to do it, you know? I'm also at a big disadvantage when I come back in, because I don't have my endurance charges when I come back in. Unfortunate. Let's come over here. There we go. Okay. Need to be careful about my re-entry. I want to Warcry as soon as I get in there. trying to make sure there's no madness propagators anywhere. Madness propagator. Go away. Oh, that was almost bad. I thought I was jumping a different direction. No. Perfect. Perfect. Oh no, 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 no. There we go. Okay, we're good. I don't remember who I'm supposed to kill first. I think it's Shaper Shaper first. This fight is going so much better. Okay, that was not great. We also avoided a slam there though. Ooh. Okay. Okay, Shaper's down. Elder's down. Donna, are you protecting me? I don't remember. Thanks so much for watching and following along with this character's progression. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. How is your League Sturving going? Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.